That just goes to show how talented NBA players are, right? I mean,
yeah. So let's pivot now more. We got to touch on the Western Conference Finals briefly because...
Oh, man, I didn't even get a chance to bring up Alperen Sengun again.
God you'll get there. Don't worry.
Let's talk about the West. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as we know, the next time we record, the Western Conference Finals could be over because the Suns are now up 2-0, and according to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports, Chris Paul plans to make his return for Game 3, barring an unforeseen setback.
And you know what, Bryan? That means a healthy shoulder, fully healthy shoulder as well. It was pretty healthy in the last round, but it's going to be even more healthy now.
Yeah. So, I mean, both of these, the first two games have been super close, right? I mean, the Suns won by 6 in Game 1, and then last night was just an absolute pandemonium madhouse for the last couple minutes of that game. Patrick Beverley tried to flop his way to stealing a win, and then DeAndre Ayton has you said this well on Twitter, like Jay Crowder passing that ball to DeAndre Ayton, like Jay Crowder is not associated as a good passer, but that was just a pinpoint perfect, like, damn all of you who did not vote Monty Williams for Coach of the Year.
That just goes to show how talented NBA players are, right? I mean,
yeah,
like that pass, like let's be honest here. I don't think there is 1,000 people in the world that can make that pass.
No,
no way. No, but the reason I frame it like that is when you look at all the international leagues, they're point guards. They're guards, so guys who dribble the basketball at all times and like pass the basketball 70 to 80 times per game, right? There are a lot of leagues, a lot of teams with guys who are guards. But the NBA is just so much more advanced. Here we have Jay Crowder, who's never asked to pass. And he just delivers that so straight on, so on point. That it really just once again reminded me, these guys are out of this world.
Yeah, they really, and you know who else is out of this world? Cameron Payne. Just an unbelievable stint in place of Chris Paul for these first two games. Game 2 in particular, a team-high 29 points. Devin Booker didn't quite have it, and he got his nose bashed in by Pat Bev. But Cameron Payne to the rescue. Also, I mean, we can't say enough about DeAndre Ayton in these playoffs.
Right, but let's just stick with Cameron Payne. Because, Bryan, if I had told you this in 2019, you would have fired my ass from the podcast. Here's a legit quote from Ty Lue after the game. "We just had no answer for Cameron Payne," Lue said. "He got downhill all night. His speed and his quickness really hurt us all night." This is a quote from a coach currently playing in the Western Conference Finals about Cameron Payne. This is where we are now. This is the improvement of Cameron Payne. 2 years ago, if I had told you that quote would be real.
Do you have the quote pulled up from the Bulls?
Oh, that was so bad with the anonymous thing. Like after the second practice, we knew that he wasn't going to be an NBA player or something. Oh, God.
Quote, "We knew the second practice, brackets, after he was acquired, that he couldn't play at, brackets, at NBA level. The only reason it took 2 practices was because we thought maybe it was nerves in the first one. Any Bulls coach who says differently is lying. We got guard on that one."
Look, the Garpax experiment, the Garpax regime was so awful. It was so god-awful. It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, it is a testament to Cam Payne, because that was not his only stop between OKC and falling out of the league. I think Toronto he latched on with briefly, as well as Cleveland. So
No, I agree with you, but it is the job of the teams to look ahead, for not just to the now, but to the later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some guys need to kind of bottom out before they get back on their feet, and that might have been the case for Cam Payne. Like, maybe
that's good news for Ben Simmons.
Let's hope. I mean, Cam Payne was fantastic when they got him for the bubble last year. He's continued his strong play. really all season. The guy is in line for a monster raise this offseason.
He's averaging 20 points and 9 assists per game in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to him, man. It's like such an awesome story. And this is where you lose me with like all of this fascination about, oh, we don't have the Lakers and we don't have the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, first of all, ratings are fine and no one should give a damn other than the league anyway. But second, like, we get stories like Cam Payne, a guy who was out of the freaking league 2 years ago and is now still like standing in place of a first ballot Hall of Fame point guard, leading his team in scoring to help his team take a 2-0 victory in the Western Conference Finals. Like, that's awesome. I do not need LeBron James's 11th appearance in the finals. Give me more stories like Cam Payne.
Yes. I wrote a story basically saying that over at Forbes.
Yes.
Talking about just how it's really a good thing that the NBA is as wide open as it is this year. So, yes, absolutely. Totally agree.
And DeAndre Ayton has just been an absolute sensation in these playoffs. We said going into this series that he was going to be one of the big X factors, whether the Clippers could stay small or if they had to go big. Game 1, they tried to stay small. Game 2, they changed up their starting lineup, put Beverly and Zubac in there in place of Nick Batum and Terrence Mann. Limited the Suns scoring-wise for sure. They scored 120 the first game, 104 in game 2. But Ayton, man, 24 points, 14 rebounds on 12 of 15 shooting. The game-winning lob dunk. Like, he's so good, and I hate that he's always going to be associated with the Luka and trade draft. Because, like, I saw, I think it was Royce Young of ESPN who wrote a story after last night that was like, DeAndre Ayton proving why he was the right number 1 pick for the Suns. It's like, we can admit that Luka was the best player in that draft.
Yeah.
But it's worked out for Phoenix. Like, you could still say, like, they could have had a better talent, but it's okay that they didn't because it's all worked out. Like, if you get Luka, you probably don't get Chris Paul. And then, are you in this position? Probably not. Do you have a longer window? Probably. Because when Chris Paul's gone, that's going to hurt this team substantially unless even if they retain Cameron Payne. But, like, that's a discussion for another day. It's just like, I hate the revisionist history. I just want to enjoy DeAndre Ayton without the context of the 2018 draft for the rest of these playoffs at least.
Right. It's the Hakeem thing, right? I mean, basically, why didn't you take Mike? Nobody really says that anymore because Hakeem won 2 rings and he was phenomenal. I mean, the all-time leading shot blocker and the best Houston Rockets player ever. So there's just, it's like, okay, well, at least we didn't draft a bust. Like, you could talk about that with Sam Bowie. Like, that's one of those things. So I agree with you. That's just what it is. So basically your point is, let's just, when we talk about that draft, make sure that we point out that Sacramento made a mistake.
Yes, they deserve to be roasted over the coals. But yes, Ayton has worked out really well. It's been awesome to see him hit this level.
I haven't thought about Ayton, and this is going to be weird. So I know you don't play a whole lot of NBA 2K, and I don't anymore as much as I used to. But remember, like, the what do you call it? The My Career mode, like when you only control one player. Is that, like, have you played that?
I haven't played since 2013. As soon as the Thunder broke up their team, I went.
Okay, well, so there's this mode on NBA 2K where you play one guy and there's like a whole story attached, and it's like, you get drafted and you get to a team, and of course you only control that one player. So every time you make a mistake, for example, it's like then your teammate grade goes down, and whenever you set a good screen or you score or something. So he's basically like one of those guys right now. It feels like that there's a teenager sitting with the actual controller in hand, controlling DeAndre Ayton, not wanting to make a single mistake. He's getting A+ games after A+ games. Like, he's not going to force shots. He's going to take open shots only. He's going to set screens. He's going to rebound. He's going to do all these small things and not make a mistake. That's what it feels like watching DeAndre Ayton right now. Just mistake free. He thinks the game out. beautiful basketball. He's scoring 22 points a game here in the Western Conference Finals. I was a little bit scared of his offense early in the season. You were as well. Just that he wasn't scoring a whole lot or not enough. Now he is. He is doing everything he needs to be doing. It's formidable basketball by DeAndre.
Yeah. So we don't know what the status is for Kawhi Leonard moving forward. Both of us have been under the assumption he's just not going to come back in this series at all.
Right.
At least until we hear otherwise. So especially with Chris Paul coming back, are the Clippers finally drawing dead, or can these zombie Clippers somehow come back and get back into the series? They're down 0-2, which is exactly where they wanted the Suns to be.
I would be very shocked this time around. I really would. This seems like a situation where they might get a win or two. This feels like Phoenix. This is gonna be a Phoenix Suns Milwaukee Bucks finals, I think.
It certainly feels that way. Odds makers agree for the FanDuel Sportsbook. I find this almost disrespectful, but the Suns are up 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals. They're minus 770. The Clippers are plus 540 to win the series. Honestly, those Suns odds feel low to me. I would have them even higher than that because this team is just so damn good. And we'll, if they do close out this series and we get a Suns Bucks finals, we'll go further in depth once that matchup is set. But I'll just say this: in terms of pure talent, especially top tier talent and playoff experience, the Bucks have the advantage. But they are so stupid, especially on offense, that I think I'm probably going to pick the Suns. Like, I just have no faith that the Bucks aren't going to have Giannis launch 6 pull-up threes one game. And, like, especially against a well-coached, deep team like the Suns, it's going to come back to bite them.